Hello, fellow humans, and welcome to my second episode of my kind of trip across the world. Right now, we are in Bangkok airport. We have just arrived with a brilliant taxi time of 8 minutes. Actually, I don't know if that's a good time for a plane to taxi, but according to Ben and Adam from Jetlag the Game, 6 minutes is a good taxi time, so I'm guessing 8 minutes must be too. We still have like several hours, like 5 hours until our next flight. But we still, for some reason, like rushed through security, so we were like at our boarding gate. I'm still not really sure how I feel about Bangkok security because it was definitely thorough. But the metal detector thing definitely beeped every single time you had like a bit of metal on, which it doesn't do in Melbourne. And also because it was kind of inconvenient, they made us open a bunch of our bags for things like cream, wet wipes, and like a bunch of perfumes. But this is kind of like a tour of the duty-free section up at the Bangkok airport near the boarding gates.
Okay, so quick rundown on the situation. We just made it through Bangkok security. I don't know how we made it through because they made us open each and every one of our bags. But that was mostly only because of like perfumes. Crazy. Now I sound like I've run a marathon. It's basically because I was just like scouting out this duty-free shops area up top and seeing what there is to do here. And whoo, it's so big, I haven't even traversed it all, that I need to go call my parents and tell them that there is something to do here so that we don't spend the next like 4.5 hours sitting in the same seat crying.
I was walking so fast to get around everywhere that my watch detected that I might be on an outdoor walk. And then the sun started rising. Now, I was really excited for the sunrise before we got there because I was like, oh, well, at least one benefit of our stay in Bangkok being extended is the sunrise. And I'm glad that I got to see it because I recorded like 10 different stages of the sunset. Then I also took my parents around the duty-free sections. And there was this cute little cleaning robot. There was also this sculpture there, and this depicts the scene of when the demons and deities were fighting, and so the deities went up to Lord Vishnu and asked for a resolution, and Lord Vishnu suggested that they churn the milk ocean, and whatever would be unearthed during the churning, each side could keep. And so that's what's being depicted here, where the demons and deities are using Vasuki Nag around the Mandara mountain and churning the ocean. And at first what came out was actually poison, and neither party actually wanted the poison because they would die if they drank it. So they called on Lord Shiva to ask who should drink the poison. But Lord Shiva drank the poison himself, and the rest of what was unearthed was the holy water, Amrit. And then there was this really cool, interesting looking bathroom. Like, I was so intrigued by this, and it looked so pretty, genuinely. So I'm glad that that was there. Okay, so my parents have gone for a massage. Hopefully, you can hear me through this. I'm gonna check it out later. But they've gone for a massage. I honestly kind of need a massage. Like, I have really stiff shoulders, but I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable. I'm actually like terrified of getting a massage, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna subject myself to that on a trip, but either way, that means I have free time for like the next 30-45 minutes. So I'm mostly just like sipping on my matcha green tea bubble tea. And other than that, I'm just like scrolling through TikTok. But I guess this is a chance to kind of just like catch up on what's happened today. It's the current time is it's like hold on, let me check. The current time is 8:33. Our flight starts boarding at like 10:30 or something because it like takes off at 11. So we still have a couple hours to kill. We've had a look around this place. I love this place, honestly. It's so cool. This is like the perfect liminal urban landscape that I like. But other than that, I've just been chilling. I do feel a little bit embarrassed that I don't know like any Thai. Like, I have been bowing to everyone, which is kind of the bare minimum because I kind of like bow to everyone anyways, but like specifically because it's culture to bow in Thailand, I have been bowing to people, but I hope that is distracting enough from the fact that I only know 2 words of Thai, which are Sawadee Ka and Kap Kun Kap Kun Ka, which I only recently just learned, and also I feel like I'm butchering the pronunciation of both, so. And this is a reenactment of what I was doing. I love it when airports add in cultural elements into their airports because obviously that's one of the best places to do it, right? Because if somebody is just passing through your country, you want to show them what your culture is like. But if somebody is coming to your country for the first time or even for the 100th time, you kind of want to introduce them to your culture and just really be proud of who you are as a nation, right? So I think it's really sweet that Bangkok Airport does this pretty well. And then we were going good for time because at 10:47 we taxied and took off. I really wanted to get onto a day flight so that I could actually see what was going on when I was in the air, and I'm glad I got into this one because it did not disappoint. The takeoff for this one was also super smooth, but I was also a little bit less nervous than last time, so still 9 out of 10. Lunch, once again, was like really good. I definitely liked the rice thing and I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't really like this dessert that much and it was one of the only things I left behind, along with the packet of walnuts. But the naan was good, the fruit was good, and bread and butter is a top tier combination. And then at one point I started noticing that we were actually really high in the air. 43,000 feet to be exact, and the windows were frosting over, and this was turbulence. I was actually freaking out when there was turbulence at 43,000 feet in the air because it felt like suspiciously high. I'm glad I couldn't search up how high airplanes should go during the flight, because apparently on Google it says 42,000, and I definitely would have started freaking out if I'd found out mid-flight. There was a lot more turbulence on this flight than the day before, but then again, that's not like the pilot's fault or anything. It didn't make there be turbulence, but you know. And then we also started going like randomly north at some point, which was very confusing, but I guess that was just like a mistake or something. And then to add to my suspicions that 43,000 feet was incredibly high, I saw this very, very little plane. Well, it looked very, very little from where we were, and this, scared me a little bit. And then as we descended down on Delhi, I was like, oh, it's really foggy here for the middle of the day, but I totally forgot that there was a lot of pollution there. There was actually not enough that I couldn't see anything, but there was enough that our view was a little bit obscured, so that did make me a little sad. And then we started going backwards, but I'm pretty sure that's because the pilot was doing a loop around because we couldn't find a runway that was clear. And then to confirm my suspicions that they couldn't find a runway before, you see that plane over there? Yeah, that landed exactly 30 seconds or maybe 40 seconds after us. Like within the same minute that we landed, it was on the runway. Now, Delhi airport is very beautiful, but it's also very big. Like sometimes when you're walking there, it feels like this is going on for like kilometers on kilometers, and it's just never gonna stop. And now for a quick rapid fire round of interesting things that happened. Well, I ate Subway, it was pretty good, and obviously because Subway has a different menu in India, it's really awesome. And there was this spoon, which didn't function very well as a spoon because it was completely flat. There was this screen, well, two screens, and they both displayed the wrong time. Well, they both didn't display the right time. And there was a cremosa, interesting. And there was also really big coffee cups, which is shocking because in India you get really, really small tea and coffee cups. Like this is a small size. And then we found out that to catch our connecting flight from Delhi to Amritsar, we actually had to take a bus to a different terminal. So we got onto it, and we didn't realize exactly where it was taking us because we didn't actually know where Terminal 1 was, and we were at Terminal 3. And then the bus drove a little bit, and then it stopped at one place, and they were like, oh, this is Terminal 2. And we're like, oh, okay. And that was only about like, I guess 5 minutes away, and it was really early across the road from Terminal 3, and then the bus started going in an entirely different direction, and it was like, hey, this is going to another part of the airport, right? Well, a 20-minute drive away is Terminal 1, which is for domestic departures. Correction, 30 minutes actually.
Honestly, I think that this like headphones treat is gonna work. This is like the best that I can make it work. I can update a little bit later. Oh my goodness, people are looking at me. But we have made it through security. We're now sitting at the airport. We're waiting for our boarding to start. And then we'll sit in the plane, and then we'll get home, hopefully, tonight.
So basically the quick rundown with security was, first of all, it was a really like small area, but there was so many people there and there wasn't any like good queue line made. And there was a lot of waiting as the whole mass of people moved forward to try and get into the line thing and actually make it across. But either way, when I eventually made it across, I started getting kind of questions. So the girl was like, oh, where are you going? And I was like, Amritsar. And I think it definitely sounded like a lie when I said that, but I was just so unprepared for the question, I didn't know how to answer it. Either way, I told her, and so she was like, okay, so what business do you have here? What are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I just landed on a flight from Australia, and now I'm catching a connecting flight. And she's like, okay, so you study in Australia? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay. And she kind of let me go. I'm pretty sure she wasn't like interrogating me, but it definitely did feel like that. Because it felt like I was questioned so hard, and nobody has ever questioned what I'm doing at an airport before, but obviously you can get randomly questioned, but that was just like really, really scary. So, the boarding gate closes like 25 minutes before departure, and when I first found that out, I was like, why? That's very early, isn't it? This is why we have to take a bus to go to the plane. So you definitely don't want to be getting to the boarding gate 25 minutes before departure because they're going to leave you behind. Honestly, this takeoff was actually really super smooth, possibly one of the best. The landing, though, entirely different story. We were like on a roller coaster. There was dips, there was bumps, there was side to side swinging action, and it was kind of hard. We also got food on this plane because we paid for it extra because, you know, we had our last minute flight delay. And it was a paneer tikka sandwich, and it was honestly not that bad, but the packaging was actually pretty cool. And with that, we had arrived in good old Amritsar, and this is where I spent the rest of my holidays. There will probably be more videos to come from this trip, but for now, it is goodbye. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you continue to have a good day, and I will see you next time.